Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms coming to you live again from Escondido here in California, where it has been a hot and mostly humid day as well. Today is September the 6th and was the second anniversary of Gus's passing. There's a whole post of that on my Facebook page if you want to read about what happened 2 years ago today. Last night I watched, I was talking about War Room, the movie that I watched last night, as well as Sound of Music and how it helped me get me out of a funk. And then I was talking about the Giants movie. Well, Hey, Jason, I thought you were supposed to be on a plane. You tricked me. And the movie I watched last night after I did the Facebook Live was called Facing the Giants. And it was an amazing, amazing story about a high school football coach who for 6 years had losing seasons, and he wanted a winning season, and about turning things around and facing their fears and with faith. And I write during these movies. I've been writing notes, and writing notes in a theater in the dark was an interesting thing, but I'll tell you about that in a second. That how your actions follow your beliefs. You give everything. Even when you feel like you can't, when you feel like quitting, just keep going. Don't quit until you have nothing left. And nothing is impossible with God. And if your attitude stinks, it means your heart is not right. I love that bit. I said, if your attitude stinks, oh, I like that. Very, very powerful movie. I loved watching it. And so Jason just put that he was supposed to be on a flight. He totally forgot he was on an earlier flight than usual. So glad I got to join you live. Excellent. Glad to see you live. And then today I decided to take Jason's advice and head off to the movies and see Overcomer, because yesterday he was talking about Overcomer, which has just come out. It's done by the same guys, the Kendrick brothers. They have a whole slew of movies. There's War Room, there's Facing the Giants, Flywheel, Fireproof, Courageous. I think I'm missing one. And then Overcomer. All faith-based movies. I've watched War Room, Facing the Giants, and Overcomer, and I still have Flywheel, Fireproof, and Courageous to watch. So I'm probably going to go and watch one of those after this. But it's got me thinking a lot and helping me sort things out with questions that I have. So today I decided to follow his advice and go off to the movies. I have not been to the movies since December of 2014 when the third installment of the Hobbit movies came out, and I went with Brad. That was the last time I stepped foot in a movie theater. So that was almost 5 years ago. And then I suddenly thought, hang on, when was the last time I went to a movie by myself? And I thought back, and the last movie I remember seeing by myself was in 1982. I had to go look this up. It was in 1982 when E.T. came out. So that was the last time I went to the movie solo, was to see E.T. in 1982. I had to go look that one up, and I had to look up the last Hobbit movie as well to see what years those were. So in 37 years, I had not been to the movie by myself, and I thought, well, this is going to be an experience. First time at the movies by myself in 37 years. First time going to the movies without Brad. This is definitely going to be an experience. So I got my ticket for the 2 o'clock show and went off to it. Got there, and and in the theater that they have here, Jason just put, do I dare mention that was the year I was born? Which one? 1937, 1987, 1982 or 2014? Take your pick. Now I'm totally losing my thought. So I got into the theatre, and at this one you book your seats when you book your ticket. So I had the back row, centre back row, which is where I love to sit, because I hate having people sitting behind me when I'm in a movie theatre. It's just something I've always had a thing about people sitting behind me when I'm watching movies. So sat up there and started watching this movie. And I'm sitting there with my pen and paper handy, because these movies have had such powerful messages and quotes and stuff that I would like to write them down. So I'm sitting there in the dark, watching a movie, writing notes. This movie was amazing. It was about a small town where a major manufacturing plant had closed down. A lot of people had moved out. this basketball coach was ready for going out and having his season the following year because it was their season. Their biggest opponent was losing some of their major players because they were seniors and graduating that year. And so next year was going to be their year. And he was gearing up for that. Then the plant closes down. He lost a lot of his players. And he ends up getting volunteered by the principal to coach cross-country running. And I thought, cross-country running, jeepers, I haven't done that since I was in high school. And I remember the hills, the brambles, yes, the fields, the paddocks, the barbed wire fences. Yeah, I remember those. We're running through farms and over barbed wire fences and through brambles and gorse and all of that sort of stuff. And some of us were doing it in bare feet. So I brought back a lot of memories of doing those. Now I'm watching these cross country and I'm like, they're on a track through a bush. How's that cross country? They need to get out there in the paddocks. But anyway, so he ends up coaching this girl who turns out to be an asthmatic, has asthma. And so the challenges they face with that. And but the questions that we're asking in there was, he meets this guy in hospital, and this guy's blind from diabetes, and this guy turns around and asks him, who are you? And he goes, well, tells him what his name is. And he goes, but who are you? And he goes, well, I'm a basketball coach. And then he says, well, yeah, we'll take away the basketball coach. Who are you? And a history teacher will take away the history teacher. Who are you? And he kept digging down deeper. And I thought, who am I? That's a really great question. Who am I? If I take away the layers, who am I at my core? So that's one of the questions I got out of that I'm going to be working on over the next few weeks. And then your identity is whatever you give your heart to. I loved that. Your identity is whatever you give your heart to. So where does your passion lie? That is part of your identity in that. And who's got first place in your heart? Who has first place in your heart? That was another one that got me. And then the last question that got me is, what have you allowed to define you? So some really deep soul-searching questions. Great story on faith, on going the distance, going the extra mile as well. These guys have put together some really, really good movies. So if you're looking for some good Christian faith-based movies, these are amazing movies. You've got War Room, which is about the power of prayer. You've got Facing the Giants, which is about faith versus fear. Then you had this one, Overcomer Today, is finding out who am I? And now I've got these other three, so I'm excited to watch the other three and see those and see how those go. So thoroughly enjoyed the movie last night, Facing the Giants. And some of you may have seen, there is a scene from that which they have on YouTube, which is where the coach pulls out one of the players and gets him to do what they call the death crawl, which is basically they're on their hands and their feet and they have somebody riding on their back. So they're back to back with somebody and they hang on to their shirts. And they do this crawl down thing, but he blindfolded the guy. And the reason behind blindfolding it is he wanted this guy to give his all, because he said, we're only going to go to the 30 yard or 50, I can't remember which yard line they said they were going to go. And he gets down there and he just keeps telling this guy, keep going, you only got this far to go, keep going. And he actually ends up taking this kid from one end of the field to the other into the end zone, and takes the blindfold off. And he finally got his message through to this kid that you don't give up unless you have given your absolute all. You never quit unless you have absolutely given your all. If you go onto YouTube, I'm sure you can find the scene from Facing the Giants. It is such a powerful, powerful scene. And a great lesson in there about, don't quit. If you're going to quit, make sure you have given your all and just never quit. And this one today, the Overcomer, even if obstacles are thrown at you, work through those obstacles, get around them. Yes, obstacles can be detours in the right direction, which is something I read in a book a few months ago. But, what have you allowed to define you? What have you allowed to define you? Who are you? Just such powerful questions to think about. So it's giving me something to think about, who am I? My identity is whatever you give your heart to. What have you allowed to define you? So what events have you allowed to define your life? And what have you done with those events, and how have you allowed them to define you? And who's got first place in your heart? So just some really thought-provoking questions. And I love movies that make me think. I love movies that make me think. And 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 I love movies that make me and think of different possibilities, different things, and that sort of stuff. So what are some of your favorite movies that have left you with a powerful message? Because I love watching inspirational movies. So what are some of your movies that have inspired you to go out there and look deeper within yourself? So what are those movies that have made you look deeper within yourself? What are those movies that have had an impact in your life, that have made you go out and make some changes in your life? Oh, I like that. And who you truly are defines how you'll overcome the obstacles you discover in life. You're right, Jason. I like that. And Jason wrote, and who you truly are defines how you'll overcome the obstacles you discover in life. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is how you face your fears, how you face your faith, how you face those obstacles in life. You know, you've seen over the last couple of days I've been extremely emotional. It's that month. It's September. There's a lot of celebration in September with a lot of birthdays, but September 6th is the anniversary of Gus crossing the Rainbow Bridge. At the 17th is the anniversary of Bear crossing the Rainbow Bridge in 2004, and the 24th coming up will be the second year of Brad's passing. So lots of ups and downs in this month, but I've got a lot of birthdays to celebrate in this month. So, this month has kind of been a very soul-searching month. And one thing I found kind of interesting is that my favorite stone has always been a sapphire. I have loved sapphires, and sapphires happen to be the birthstone for the month of September. So it seems like a lot of defining stuff for me happens in the month of September. I don't know why. That's just the way it is. But anyway, that's me from today. So I'd like to know in the comments below, because I want you to share what some of your favorite movies are that have had a lasting impact in your life. What are some that have inspired you, that have helped define who you are, that have helped you go out and make changes? So what are some of those inspirational movies that you've watched that have had a profound impact on you? Please put the movie titles down below, because I want to build up my movie list and go watch other movies. I went through, was it Netflix or Prime? I think both of them last night, and bookmarked a whole bunch to go and watch. So you'll probably hear some more movie reviews coming up. But today overall, I am very proud of myself. I did well watching a movie by myself in the theatre. Although I have to admit that when you are sitting in a theatre with 12 to 15 other people, that you have to remember that you can't stand up and cheer. You can't stand up and encourage the person on the screen. I managed to keep myself in check, and I did not do that as much as I wanted to. I mean, there was a couple of times in the movie I just wanted to get up and start screaming at the screen. The final scene, I was literally on the edge of my seat, having to hold myself in place as the big finale, as the big race at the end was going. I was on the edge of my seat, and I was wanting to stand up and yell at that girl and tell her to keep going and going and going and going. I just wanted to cheer along with everybody in the movie and tell her to keep going. And then I wanted to celebrate with everybody at the end. And of course, all these people are sitting in their seats, and I'm sort of like, yeah, no, I can't do that. But had I been at home, that would not have been a problem. I would have been up, jumping around and dancing and everything else. So, well, you can. Yes, I probably could, because I'll probably never see those people again anyways. But when I'm by myself, I'm a little more reserved. When I'm with a group of friends, yeah, we probably could have done that together. But yeah, if I'd been with a group of friends, we probably could have been all on the edge of our seats and cheering and everything else. And yeah, but by myself, I'm a lot more reserved. So anyway, enjoyed the movie Overcomer today. If you get a chance to go see it, please go do so. If you get a chance to watch Facing the Giants, another great movie, please put your favorite inspirational movies down in the comments below so we can start building our movie list. I want more movies to watch that are like that, because I love those ones that make you stop and think about things in life. So have a super fantastic oh jeepers, we could have made a ruckus together. Well, I'll tell you what, Jason, when I get into your neck of the woods and come visit you and Brittany, if there is another Kendrick's movie out in the theatres, we will go see it together, and then we can stand and cheer and clap and all of that together, okay? We're on. You will show your kids how you watch movies correctly. Although they probably get up and stand and cheer anyway. So please put your favourite movies down below that are inspirational to you. And have a super fantastic sparkling evening. And thank you to everybody for all the comments that have been left on the post I did about Gus this morning. It was heart-wrenching. It brought back a lot of memories about 2 years ago, what happened 2 years ago today. And I appreciate all the love and everybody that has reached out in private messages, leaving messages there. I have appreciated all of that and the love. And thank you, Jason, for suggesting I go see Overcomer today. I did it. It was an amazing experience, but I think I enjoy going to see a movie with friends because then I can be a little more vocal instead of sitting in my seat on the edge of my seat and having to contain myself. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will catch you all tomorrow. Hekonera.